Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Remote Control Sports. On today's show, I'm recording with my phone because my Wi-Fi is terrible, so you get to see even more of me. On today's show, we've got LPN Ashley Ducote joining us. She's been on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic in the New Orleans area, treating patients, and she's going to give us some great insight on what you need to look out for symptoms, if you may have it, what you should do if you think you do have it, and also she gives us some insight with some really great stories about how this has been affecting not just medical professionals, but those with COVID-19 as well. So if you want to learn how to help out with this pandemic, make sure you stay tuned for that interview. On today's show, we're going to recap episodes 5 and 6 of The Last Dance documentary. And sports are so back. The Korean baseball organization is on tonight. They are here and they are ready to party. On today's show, we've got Dylan Doman.
What's up?
Richie Solaris.
Howdy.
And Jermaine Kelly.
How's it going?
All right, let's roll the intro. Welcome to the show, everyone. As you can see, I am now back in a normal position. I'm sitting here on my laptop. I've moved from the phone to the laptop, and maybe I'll work a tablet in there at some point. And hopefully I don't freeze because we've been trying to record this intro for like an hour because the Wi-Fi is so bad. Anyway, sports are so back. The KBO, the Korean baseball organization, begins tonight. I don't even know if that's what KBO stands for. Jermaine, I was so excited. I FaceTimed you earlier. What does this mean for the world?
It means, like you said, that sports are so back, dude. I'm excited. I'm going to wake up in the middle of the night, watch America's pastime in Korea. It's going to be – I'm a big KIA or Kia Tigers guy now. So,
okay.
Sports are back, so let's get it.
All right. Now, do you think your Tigers have a good chance to take, I don't know what they call it in Korea, but the Korean trophy?
Yeah, they're in a bit of a slump, Last time they won the Korean championship was in 2017, but hey.
It's only been 2 years, Jermaine. You call that a slump, dude?
What'd you say?
What is wrong with you?
What'd you say?
It's only been 2 years. That's a slump?
Hey, not when you're a winner. You're going to win every year.
What? Anyway.
Jermaine, you're a Texas Rangers fan that haven't won in how many years?
Hey, Dylan. No.
Man, just think, if you guys catch that pop-up, am I remembering that correctly? Didn't y'all drop a pop-up in a very big game?
Let's not talk about that.
Okay, so that did happen. All right, Dylan, do you have are you going to watch tonight? I'm so excited to watch sports with my friends.
I'm excited because I love baseball. Baseball is my favorite sport. It's always been my favorite sport. I don't care if it's Korean. Is the announcers going to be in Korean or is it going to be
No. It's Carl Ravitch.
Oh,
and
awesome.
Somebody else doing it remotely in English. So we're getting that.
I'm in. And, I don't know anything about the Korean Baseball League or organization. I don't know anything about it. But I looked up the teams in there, and they have a team called the Hyundai Unicorns. That's who we're rocking with.
I didn't see them.
Yeah, Hyundai Unicorns.
Yeah. I'm looking this up.
Yeah.
Richie, did you know this was happening at all before we told you about it?
No. I like that it is, but I'm not going to watch. And my reasoning, it's not because I don't think it's going to be good. Dude, I'm an old man. You guys all know me. I am an old soul. I can't stay up till midnight. I can barely make it to 11.
Dylan, I've got some terrible news for you. The Unicorns have not played since 2008.
Jeez.
Oh. Well, all right. Hold up. Talk about something else. Let me go find a new team. Because now I
want to let everyone know my allegiance is with the NC Dinos. I'm a diehard Dinos guy. Hashtag Dinomite. Hashtag out of sight. So we're going Dinos. They're actually on tonight. That had 60% of what had to do with me choosing them to be my Korean baseball team. And the other 40% was that they definitely have the best name in the league. The thing I did not like about it is every team has basically the same logo. It's just they're different colors. Like they all have the same logo, just different colors. So that's kind of lame. But I'm a big Dinos guy. Have been for roughly 4 hours, so I'm pretty excited.
I'm gonna rock with the Samsung Lions.
Samsung Lions. Hey, it's rivalry night because that's who we're playing.
Why
We're playing.
Let's go.
Samson Lions. It is on tonight. Richie, final thoughts. Do you have a team that you're gonna, be with?
I like the Dinos, and it's not because I'm mooching off of you. To this day, Jurassic Park is my favorite movie series of all time. Star Wars is close, but Jurassic Park is up there. I love dinosaurs, so I'm go Dinos.
All right, stay off the bandwagon, Richie. Moving in to our second topic, which I'm drawing a blank on what it is. Let me pull it up right here. This is very, very professional. While I'm doing that, following us on social media, Remote Control Sports on Instagram, Remote C Sports on Twitter, and we're on Facebook as well. Okay, here we go. I have it, and I'm very professional. The NFL will not be playing any games outside of the U.S. this year. I think that this is phenomenal. Richie, your thoughts?
I've never liked the international games. I get why.
I apologize to you because I thought you'd be the guy that really likes it. I hate it.
No. I get why they do it, branch out, but I mean, there's so much that goes into it. But to me, the biggest thing is I look at it from a player or coach's standpoint. Man, if you're based here anywhere in this country and you got to fly to like London, for example, that's what I believe it's a 12-hour flight, right? And the games are always played here in the U.S. Those games are it's going on at like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. So you fly there, you're on jet lag, you don't have much time to prep as it is, you're exhausted. It's horrible. And then from a fan standpoint, I love football more than just about anyone else on this planet, but it's hard to be up at 7 a.m. to watch a football game. Like I'm up at 9 watching pregame, but 7 a.m. Like when I go into it, I'm prepped, I'm ready to watch, I'm excited. If
I'm already
at
Richie's already 8 beers in at that point.
Yep, Dos Equis. Drink Dos Equis. Not sponsored, but Dos Equis. But no, I hate it. I don't like the international games, and I'm glad they're doing this because it's not safe. But maybe we'll see them kind of go away from this because of this scare. That's the hope.
But Richie, does your thought process change with games that are in Mexico as opposed to London or England?
It's easier, but I still don't like it because they still have a further trip. Now it's not 12 hours, but then it comes to which I'm sure, which will be John's point of view, is that there's not that many American football fans in those countries. It's just not that.
This is why I don't like it. Is because let's say you are a fan of the Jacksonville Jaguars. You're one of the 7, okay? They lose a game every year. You're paying full price for season tickets, and then one of those 8 games, you have to let the guy in London. No one in London is waiting for that. It's literally like a monster truck show. They're like, hey, you want to go see the football game? Go see the American football game down the street this week? That's what it is. No one is waiting for that. There's no diehard Jaguar fans in the world, let alone London. That's the problem I have with these international games. Now, I want to know – go ahead, Dylan.
My whole thing is they're picking teams when they go play in London or Mexico that are not good either. Yeah. Like the baseball. What baseball did the last 2 years was bring in series overseas, like a full series between the Red Sox and Yankees. Obviously, those are 2 worldwide, nationally known franchises that there are fans worldwide. So they are fans of those teams. Now, again, I'm not for it because of the whole player standpoint, having to fly out there. I agree with Richie on all that. But, you're not even sending good teams. I think the Patriots and Raiders played in Mexico. People are obviously familiar with the Patriots. But if you're sending, good franchises to go play, then it's different. But they're not doing that. They're sending the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Detroit Lions, the Tennessee Titans. They're sending teams like that over there. So it's not even good football for them to watch. It's not even great players.
Now, okay, here's what I want to know. Why did it take this pandemic to do something that I don't know? I don't really know anyone that loves this idea. And it makes sense the NFL just doesn't listen because they don't listen to anyone. But, I don't know. It's just – do you think that this is going to end international play?
It should in football because of the fact that, baseball is played worldwide. football is played worldwide. I mean, basketball is played worldwide. The reason for expanding to those countries is to get those players to want to come to America and play. It's to expand the sport. It's to expand the brand of MLB, NBA. Football is not a worldwide sport. You are bringing a sport that is not played in England and is not played in Mexico to a national level like it is here in America. And you're rarely going to get a player that will come do that.
I'm just waiting for the cricket international tour to come to Baltimore, dude. That's gonna be sick. We can't even get into rugby, and rugby's awesome. All right. Someone else that's awesome is Ashley Ducote. She is an LPN who has been taking care of COVID-19 patients. She's been on the front lines. We did something a little different this episode, but it's probably the most important interview that we may do in the entire history of this show. So here we go. Here's our interview with Ashley. We're joined with Ashley Ducote, who is a licensed practical nurse. She's been on the front lines dealing with all this stuff with the coronavirus, COVID-19. So Ashley, thanks for being here.
No problem. Thanks for having me, guys.
So the big question that I want to know is how are you, first off, before we get specifics, how has all of this been for you? Is this something that, I mean, obviously I guess it's something you've never seen before, but how have you adapted to it?
I mean, I definitely did not think I would be dealing with this so soon out of nursing school. I graduated in December 2018, so I did not think this would be something I would have to be handling as a new nurse in any way. But it definitely has impacted the stress level that everybody is feeling. Everybody is on edge. Everybody is ready to get back to what their regular routine used to be. But it's definitely not something that is easily transitioned into. It takes time, and it's definitely a lot emotionally draining, more than physically draining, dealing with this whole issue. And I've seen kids that have had it. I have seen adults that have had it. And more times than not, it is more emotionally draining than physically draining, having to handle the kids and the adults with it.
So Ashley, what's it just been like in the hospital for all of the medical workers in the community? Obviously, it's chaos, but can you tell us, kind of what your experience has been so far with all this mess?
I offered to go work in the hospital when all this started. They asked my supervisor, who's had hospital experience, who hasn't, who can go work, who can't. I offered from the beginning. I didn't have to go till about 3 weeks ago, and I was preparing for the worst. But we have to go in the unit that I was on. We change into scrubs when we get there, so it's not on any of our clothes or any of our scrubs. Then we put on what I call a bunny suit, and you literally goes from your ankles to your wrists, and you zip it up, and you put on shoe covers that cover over your hair and one set of gloves, and you have to wear a mask at all times. You have to wear the N95s and then a face shield. So that's just going into the unit to deal with these patients. But we don't necessarily have all the proper PPE in the hospital setting. If you walk in a patient's room and you don't have it, then they just say, oh, well, it's all locked up in supervisors' offices. You only get one N95. I mean, it's definitely resources are definitely strained in the way that not everybody notices. And everybody's like, oh, well, you're getting PPE. Trump is saying you're getting PPE, but it's not necessarily going all over like everybody says it is from my end that I'm seeing.
Now, when all this really started, there was a lot of the main symptom was coughing, and now obviously in the 2 or 3 months that this has been bigger, not only in America but in the entire world, there's been more symptoms that have come out. For you, kind of seeing people that have it or know people that have it, what are some of the main symptoms that they are experiencing?
A lot of the people that I've seen that have it, the older adults that I was taking care of, they all had a very wet, kind of nasty kind of allergy sounding cough, and they also all were having shortness of breath. But what happened was right around Mardi Gras in the pediatric clinic I work in, kids were coming in super sick, and it wasn't a thing in Louisiana or pretty much the United States really, and kids were coming in super sick. We would swab them for the flu and it would come back negative, and we were like, I swore this kid had it. I know this kid had the flu, and they weren't testing positive. So we were thinking that was the beginning of all of this. My doctor, my primary care doctor, actually thinks that I did have it because right around Mardi Gras, I had like a stomach bug and I had to go to the emergency room and get an IV and get a bag of fluids. And then because they're saying the GI symptoms, the nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, whatever, starting like a week before the cough and congestion and all of that. So then right after Mardi Gras, I had a cough for about a month until I finally talked to my doctor. And he's like, I do think you did have it. And he's like, but you would test negative by now. So there's no point of testing you. It's very hard to get tested. And a lot of these kids that are coming in, I've only seen 1 or 2 kids that have been swabbed for it out of the clinic that I work at.
So I want to know, because there's been reports of people who have been dealing with patients of COVID-19 who have wound up, it's taken a huge toll on their mental health and their lives, to the point where some of them have committed suicide, unfortunately. How has this whole pandemic changed your life and your well-being?
It's definitely mentally exhausting going to work knowing that these people, it's hard for them to not have their family with them. It's hard for us to not allow family in and see them. They are able to drop packages off, but it's still not the same. And I mean, we are able to like FaceTime with their family, but for us, it's more mentally exhausting because I had a patient that her husband passed away when they were both in the hospital. And she's like 92 years old, I think. And she's just crying to me, telling me like, why won't y'all just let me die? And it's like, it's hard to sit there and watch this woman asking for that. Like I am almost tearing up in the room with her and she's just bawling. And I'm like, there is nothing else that I can do for this woman. And so it's like you're having to sit there and you're dealing with your own emotions, but you're also taking on the emotions of the patient, the family, and everybody else that's involved in it. And it's stressful and everybody's high stress because we don't have as many resources that we need. And it's stressful going to work every day, pretty much.
Now, the New Orleans area or in Louisiana in general, it was well reported about a month ago that at one point it was the highest increase of cases in the entire world. Where is Louisiana at? Obviously, you're only treating patients in Louisiana, but how has this gone? Obviously, it's down a little bit, but do you think there is significant progress being made towards the state reopening in a couple weeks as it is right now?
I think reopening in a couple weeks, like Jefferson Parish. The other day I saw on the news that we are only about 100 to 150 cases behind New Orleans, and they are not allowing outside food places to open up. They're not allowing any seating outside. So for us to be so close to New Orleans and they have such different rules than we do, I don't think it's smart to really open up at this point. But I think last I saw, I think we were like Louisiana as a whole was the 7th in the United States on the amount of deaths per capita in either New Orleans or the whole state. And I think that says a lot considering you wouldn't think that we would be, but yeah.
Now, if you think you have it, what's the best way to go about contacting a hospital? Because you obviously can't just drive there, especially with other people. There's been a lot of information, people saying call, what is it? There's one of the hotlines. Is it 299 or it's one of those hotlines, and other people say, call urgent care or hospital. What's the best thing a person can do in that kind of situation?
Definitely, if you have a primary care doctor, I would call them to see what their procedure is, because sometimes they may say you might qualify for some of the symptoms, but if you don't have either the shortness of breath or the cough, they aren't testing. So I'll call your primary care doctor and see what they want to do regarding testing, just so that way in case whether they would say, okay, go to, because there's specific urgent care that are set up for it. There's specific doctor's offices that are set up for just COVID testing. So call your primary care doctor, and if not, you can call one of the urgent cares in the city and just say, I think I have the symptoms. Are y'all testing? Because they would most likely allow you to come in. Emergency rooms really are kind of bare right now. Not many people are going in. So if you feel like you have it, you can go in there because they do have the proper testing and PPE for all of the healthcare workers. So you'd be able to get tested there too.
Now, I'm also interested to know, there's a lot of protesters out there who want everything to open back up between ice cream shops and hair salons. What would you say from a medical standpoint to people like this who are out and want everything to be opened up when the threat is clearly still here? What would be your medical advice for that?
I think depending on the amount of cases, what stage you are in and reopening, what phase you're in reopening, and I also think where it's at. So like some states that don't have as many cases, I wholeheartedly think that they can slowly open back up and do what they need to do, you know, wearing the masks, everybody wearing masks, and kind of social distancing still, sitting outside, not being in contained areas with more than 10 people. I think that is a good way to go about it, but how we are still having positive cases and deaths kind of daily, even though it's less, I still think we are not, as New Orleans and Jefferson Parish, all that, I don't agree that we are able to open up. Just like Governor Edwards said, I don't think we're at the point where we can just let everybody go. And I think the people that are protesting in other states, if their government feels like they can open up, then I agree with doing it. But I don't think having large gatherings, I think that's still a big risk for a lot of people.
I want to know what you think of, you know, when you go on social media and see people who are just so against wearing masks and practicing social distancing just to really be a burden. I mean, it's frustrating for been in that field, but for you who are treating patients, who are seeing how this is affecting patients, how does that make you feel?
It's kind of frustrating because I guess they're not taking the proper precautions, and it's almost like it's telling us like, oh, I don't feel the need to take proper precautions because you're doing it, you're fine. It's frustrating for medical workers because we're having to sit there and say, okay, well, we have to do all of this stuff, even when we're at work, if we're going into a place everywhere. Like I have a mask in my car, I have gloves in my car for like when I pump gas, things like that. So it's frustrating for me when I see people that don't take the proper precautions when we're still on the stay-at-home order and when they're still like advising us to take the proper precautions. It's frustrating for me, at least.
Now, let me ask you this. All of these medical professionals are doing so much work in the country now. I mean, they're arguably the most important profession in the entire world right now. What is it that you would like to see from the public or even the average citizen to be able to show our support for all these medical workers who are working nonstop hours, putting their life in danger? What could the public do just to show the medical community our support?
I think personally, like for me, I would like to just see everybody just listen to what is happening. I know like it's been 2 months that we've been at the stay-at-home order. I understand it's frustrating to be stuck at home. I understand it's hard doing nothing but sitting at home and looking at the four walls of your house or going outside or maybe just going to the park. But I think if you stay at home, this will go away faster than most people think. And I think people not staying at home and wanting things to reopen back to normal, I think for me, it's like a slap in the face because I'm like, okay, if I'm sitting here doing tons and tons of hours in a job that I love and I totally am still wanting to do after this. That's what I signed up for. But I don't think it's fair for me to say, oh yeah, I'm doing all of my stuff, but y'all can go do whatever you want. And I think if people just listen to what the government is saying, listen to their suggestions, follow what they're doing, this will go away sooner than what they believe.
Ashley, thanks so much for your time, and thank you for what you've been doing over the last few months as well.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Huge thanks to Ashley Ducote for all she is doing. If you want to help Ashley, just stay inside. It's time to wrap this show up with Remote Control Pop Culture, episodes 5 and 6 of The Last Dance. The Michael Jordan documentary aired last night as we're filming this, 2 nights ago while you're watching this, or maybe somewhere in between. Anyway, Jermaine, I start with you because you have been so quiet. Headband today.
Yeah.
We haven't addressed that.
Still no haircut. Didn't want to put on a hat, so we're just doing.
You going for like a I don't know. Did anybody even wear headbands back then? Horace Grant, going for a Horace Grant look?
Not a big Horace Grant.
Brian Bosworth.
You're not a Horace Grant guy? How could you not be? He's wearing the NBA Cares polo.
No, not a big Horace Grant guy.
Wow, so you don't care, is what you're telling me.
basically.
Dylan is frozen, so I'm not going to go to him until he's not. Richie, we're going to quiz you at the end of the show.
Of course you are.
Yeah, because you did not watch it.
Correct.
Yeah. So what? Let me just ask you before we quiz you on specifics. Your thoughts on episodes 5 and 6?
Very well done. I do like Dennis Rodman as a character. He's always fun, very entertaining to listen to. I think it's pretty crazy that Michael Jordan is just absolutely amazing. Even though I didn't get to watch him growing up, so I won't get into the debate on whether he's the greatest of all time or not, because I never.
Jermaine would love that, though.
So play. I think I can say that I think he's one of the best. I think the documentary has been very enlightening. I think that it has kind of brought more of his competitive side out. Of course, everyone knew he was competitive, but now you're getting an inside look at it, the entire story, everything with his teammates. I think it's a fresh look on one of the greatest of all time.
Richie, my first quiz question.
There he is.
My first quiz question for you.
Mhm.
Was Dennis Rodman in episode 5 and 6?
Huh?
Was Dennis Rodman in episode 5 and 6?
Yes.
No.
No, incorrect.
The first thing you led with was, I love Dennis Rodman,
Love that
and it was
Dennis
not.
Rodman stuff.
It was
Well, I thought. Well, I know he narrated the other two.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one wasn't about
Who's narrating now, though? Who's it to?
There's no narrator.
It's not really narrated. It's just the focus point of it, and this wasn't the focus
yeah.
point.
Here's what I love about the whole thing, and I've just loved about this documentary. And one who did not like Michael Jordan. I didn't watch him. I had no, I don't know anything really about Michael Jordan. I have loved seeing how fun he was. Like, he was actually a human being with a personality, and a pretty good one, which how have I never heard that? Like, it's obviously well documented. It's not just like when the cameras are on or off or anything like that. He is a very likable human being. How did I go my entire life thinking that he was just this emotionless basketball robot? That just makes no sense to me. How this was shit. Do y'all feel the same way?
Well, yeah.
I mean, I can't believe that. I just can't believe it. All right. So yeah, personally, I thought episode 6 was the best one so far.
With like the whole Charles Barkley and everything in there?
Yeah.
Or what you learned about it, yeah.
I just thought that was the best one because we got to, see a little bit of everything. It wasn't just one sole focus, which none of them really have been. That would be an unfair assessment of the show, of the series. But I don't know. I feel like we're really picking up with episodes 5 and 6.
What I was intrigued by was the fact that after like the 92 championship, there were even talks of him like quitting basketball at that time.
You do realize he did quit, right?
Yeah, no, I know, but even in like 92, like at the top of his game, like 3 championships after, like I didn't realize they were.
That's when he retired.
Storyline. I know, I didn't realize it was that big of a storyline at that. Like I didn't realize I didn't. Again, I never grew up watching Michael Jordan. I didn't even know I knew he played baseball. I didn't even know when he played baseball. So,
I see what you're saying. I thought you were like. Go ahead.
No, I just find it interesting because there's things that I didn't know about. I didn't know that the years things happened. Like I didn't know that this happened immediately after the 3 straight championships. But then you listen to like all the stories and saying like he's emotionally drained because he has no time. He can't leave his hotel room without being bombarded, and most famous athletes are like that anyway. But
here's what I think is the biggest difference, and I don't know if social media plays a role into it, but what I think was the biggest difference, and what I think is going to such ammunition for people who say Michael Jordan is better than LeBron, and so you may have something to do with it in this day and age that we live in, where people are so readily available. Michael is just walking out to go to a game, and there are hundreds of people waiting to look at him. No one in the world is like that anymore. Maybe some international soccer players, but obviously we don't experience that in America. But no one doing that for LeBron. thought that was crazy, and it may just be the editing done to make it look that way, but it really did look like every time he left his house, he was like a rock star, which LeBron I don't think is.
Yeah, it's weird, dude, because like there wasn't like anyone like Jordan, especially like a basketball player, like who was that popular, had his own brand of shoes, which grew so fast, and it's like now, like today, we've had Jordans and we've had Kobe and Allen Iversons and guys like that who are like larger than life, and LeBron too. So it's like that's why, because like Jordan was the first like global guy to like that everybody knows his name. You got to see Jordan. Now it's just like, oh, you can see LeBron anywhere. Like you can see LeBron's personal life if you go on like his Instagram or something like that. You can see that with Jordan. So I think that's why that is.
Let's get into our quiz with Richie. Richie, I'll start here. Your thoughts on Michael Jordan's favorite shoe?
It was really interesting to see that he has the same fashion likes as Joe Exotic. I thought that was really interesting. I like the flashy. I like the personality. And now I wasn't expecting it, but I like it.
Now, were you surprised he three-stripe life? He was repping the three-stripe life?
Yeah, I thought, since he's such, spirit animal with Joe Exotic, I would have thought that he would try and ride the mullet one time. I mean, why not?
Richie, what shoe brand did he want to join?
I don't know what's happening.
What shoe brand did he want to actually join?
Adidas.
Yes.
Wow. 1 for 1. Okay.
Get rid of it.
1 for 1. Okay. Let's think here. You guys have anything?
In the 92 finals, Richie, who did the Chicago Bulls play?
The Chicago Bears, if I'm not mistaken.
What was Jordan's accused addiction?
Oh, he's not a drug guy.
No.
I'm gonna go with shopping.
It's you're not far. You're not that far off of it.
What? Gosh, let me think.
Was it a certain item?
No, it was gambling.
No, it's gambling.
Gambling? Oh, okay.
They suspected gambling because he was very competitive. So he's like, I'll beat you in cards. I'll bet you. But he wouldn't bet $10. Like I think it was David Aldridge said, us betting $10 is like him betting $10,000. Like he has that money, so he would bet that much money.
Which team did Michael Jordan request a trade to in episode 6?
Was it the Lakers?
No, it was no team because he's loyal.
Not many people.
You're right. Okay, and let me do this. Where does the name Air Jordan come from?
Air Bud.
It's honestly as good a guess as I would have hoped for. Richmond, will you watch it 7 and 8?
Probably not. And it's nothing against him. It's nothing against him. I love Mike.
Just got some other things to do. All right. So that'll do it for today's episode. Again, we want to thank Ashley Ducote for coming on the show. She doesn't have much free time, and she chose to spend it with us for some reason. So we can't thank her enough, and thank her for what she's doing, all those dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. Make sure you're liking and subscribing. That way you can join the Remote Control Nation. Again, no perks. You're just part of the fan club. See you guys in a few days. Make sure social media, Remote C Sports on Twitter, Control Sports on Instagram, or on Facebook. And you can listen to the show anytime on our Anchor and Spotify pages. Everyone, a few days, and we will see you next time.